and other fermented. Those products will start in August of 2023. Now, the last products on the list that we mentioned, soda and wine, those ones we're giving a longer time span. Again, depending on what the usage that we've been monitoring and seeing in our market. Most of these take long to be consumed. So we are giving them a longer time. Those ones we are foreseeing in the next 2 years' time, maybe, we shall have rolled out the new stamps. So that's how we're phasing it out.
I'm looking at wine, and it is also falling in the same category
of
the long shelf life.
Yes, it is. But like I explained in the beginning, it doesn't move as fast as the spirits. It takes long. I think Ugandans prefer spirits, the hard thing. I mean, the spirits more than the wine. So it doesn't move as fast. So we are not going to rush that yet. We'll start with the spirits, and then we shall move to the wines later.
Thank you. At this point of the show, someone who is tuned in is wondering, what do these new stamps look like? What are some of the distinct features that I need to be looking out for, or how differently are they from the others? If we may use some demo, if we can have an opportunity of showing the people what the new stamps look like and what are some of the key elements that they need to be looking out for, we could take a minute or two to do exactly that.
Okay, thank you, Solomon.
Yeah, sure. Because we have some.
We have some
on set here.
Some on set here.
And on paper, they all look similar. So someone is wondering, okay, what's different?
All right, thank you. First of all, we've changed the design completely. We have maintained the yellow, because yellow is the color. We have maintained the yellow, but we have changed the design and the features in it. Yeah? Maybe you can look at it. So what we've done is, one, the color shifting feature has changed from the old one, which was two-sided.
Okay.
Yeah, we only have it on one side. We have within the features, I can't break them down. We have water, we have leaves, we have squares, we have different features inside there. Originally, we had a head of a crane.
The crested crane. The national bird.
The national bird. We don't have it anymore. And you see that on every paper that has been put up today, the round stamps, we have letters associated to the stamp. So for every product, we have introduced letters for the round stamps to differentiate them per product.
What is the significance of these letters?
The significance is to show that this is a different product. Originally, I told you all the 5 products, I think,
we're getting the same stamp?
The same stamp. There is no difference. Now, someone will just pick up the bottle, whatever packaging, and see that those 2 labels there.
S-O.
S-O, and no, this is a soda.
Okay.
He'll pick another one with...
this says AL?
That is alcoholic. All alcoholic beverages, the kombuchas, will have AL. Then we shall have WT for water.
Okay.
We shall have PE for ready to drink. We shall have BR for beer, and so on. That is for the round stamps. For the spirit, we've changed it completely. It's still a long sticker, but we've removed the crane as well and added a nice, I don't know how you call that bird.
In Luganda, I think they call it the ngari.
It's like a heron there.
Like a heron.
And we have another feature up here. So the difference here is that we've changed the entire features inside there. They are different. We've maintained the yellow, but we have put other features inside there.
And another thing that I'm seeing featuring on all of them is
the data matrix.
The data matrix, or the QR code.
The QR code now, all the stamps will have QR codes. We don't need to read. Before you had to read this, like I told you, so now you only have to scan. But if you want to, you can still read the human readable code and get your results using our apps.
I have just one more question concerning the stamp. Something is really popping out for me. That is UNBS. Probably because it's another color. What is the significance of UNBS concerning the digital tracking solution?
Thank you, Solomon. We began this journey with UNBS.
Yes.
And we are still with UNBS.
Yes.
All these products that we stamp are certified by UNBS. In other words, they have a certificate that permits a person to produce this product and have it on the market. The Q mark is what shows that this product has gone through the processes of UNBS, and this manufacturer has been allowed to place this product on the market. It is safe. It conforms to the standards. Okay? That's what it means. So what we are trying to say is that we are working together with UNBS and we continue working with them, and this stamp signifies that they have authorized that product to be on the market as well. Later in the future, you'll be able to, with the UNBS coming fully on board, we shall have them also have other products stamped the same way. But currently, for all excisable stamps, we're using this stamp with their mark.
So in the future, there's a possibility of having a lot more products affixed with the digital.
There will be more
stamps.
products affixed with the stamp.
Thank you so much. I thought it was important that we bring out that element of conformity, so that as people are purchasing, they know that the stamp is also an indicator of legitimacy.
Yes.
When it comes to the product.
Yes.
Yes, that brings me to a question that perhaps I'm still bringing to you, Samali. Does this mean that we have totally expired the old stamps? That old paper stamp?
Okay, thank you. Like I've explained, or maybe I'll start with the law.
Please.
We have a tax stamps law, what we call that tax procedures called tax stamps regulations of 2018. And under section regulation 8B, the commissioner can declare a stamp out of use. In other words, can expire use of a stamp.
Yes.
What we are doing now is the commissioner declaring those stamps out of use, expiring them. Okay? So at the end of the day, we expect to phase out those stamps completely and not have them appearing on any of our products. So yes, it is a legal provision. We are going to phase them out, expire them. But like I said, we are going to do it systematically because we have a lot of products out there. We've already stamped the old stamp and their shelf life dictates otherwise. So we shall do it in a phased manner and completely expire them.
In the spirit of favor, no, of course, in the spirit of walking the business journey with the taxpayer and the business person, it's important that we move in a sequential manner to allow them some time to adjust to the new in a way that won't like put their businesses at risk or push them back a couple of months behind. I want to ask Robert the next question. It's a question concerning the changes that are happening within the digital tracking space. Do we have other projects that the public perhaps should get to become more aware about? And what are some of the benefits that those projects are bringing on board?
Thank you, Solomon. Maybe just to add on what Shan talked about, that what we are doing is within the legal provisions.
Yes.
However, as you are aware, we are facilitating businesses and our manufacturers and the importers to do business. So that's why she was emphasizing that even though the commissioner can resolve these stamps and determine when they are expired, we give them an extra extension so that if a client comes and says, I still had my stamps, I have not produced given the market conditions. So we give them that opportunity so that they deplete the other stamps, then they can order more. Because we are not interested in them just wasting, but want them to use. Now, on the other projects we are doing, we are continuing to improve our efficiency. As you can see now, these stamps have been brought on board. We started on the distribution of stamps to the regions, but people didn't take them on properly because we started with the southwestern region. That is, we put a center in Barara. We were telling clients, you come and pick stamps, we'll bring them closer to you. But still the taxpayers were not coming through. I don't know if it is their accountants who don't come or what, but the provision is still there to our clients. We want to bring the stamps closer to you because we want to make work easy. The stamps closer, you are saving the transport and what. So it was just scheduled, but the uptake was very low. So I want to still emphasize that. Then we're also proceeding with our enforcement activities, but our modus operandi, our method of operation, we first start with engagements. So we have really engaged our clients. So I answer those maybe who have remained outside, they have remained willingly, they are not willing to comply. But we have engaged the manufacturers, we have engaged the traders. Every day the teams are outside engaging these taxpayers. And even now the masses, the traders that only purchase a stamp product provided it is gazetted. So after that, now we are only remaining with now doing the seizures and the enforcement activities. Because we know where you're coming from, the COVID period, but we first engaged the whole of 2021, we've been engaging. 2022, we're engaging, of course, penalizing those that we have engaged and they are not complying. So those ones have been penalizing. So I want to encourage our traders and clients who will consume these products, only purchase products that have stamps, provided they are gazetted for stamping. On something new that we are doing, we are doing what we call the Inner Sugar project, where we deployed our staff at the different factories, yes, to try and study, because the non-compliance in the market now makes us go an extra mile, because we want to see the people who are purchasing this spirit, where are they putting it? So if you are purchasing a lot of spirit, you are manufacturing, so you should be able to remit taxes to URA. So you're actually there to study the trade, and we also continue improving. So that's what we are doing currently as URA. The engagements are not stopping, we are still engaging, because every day Uganda has so many investors. Every day someone gets an idea, then they start manufacturing. But you find they've never interested themselves in what happens, the legal provisions, DTS, IFRIS, all those applications we have as URA. So we are continuing to engage. But as I finish on the new things we have, I want to encourage the public and those who are trying to be investors, or are the promising investors, to desist from the issue of fake stamps. These are manufactured here in NASA, others are coming from outside Uganda, Nairobi and where. But we have sensitized the public. So by the time someone is faking the stamp, it means they are aware, they know what they are doing. So we want to tell them straight that we are going to go hard on them, because they are not only hampering the development of Uganda, but they are also endangering the lives of Ugandans, because most of those products are not certified by UNBS, so they are dangerous for their consumption. You know what happened, was it in Arua, where they took some gin and then people died. So we want to encourage the public, you scan this QR code, just download the app, I think my colleague will talk about it, it will show you the details, then you say, I'm drinking the legitimate thing. Yeah, so fake stamps, once you see it, please report to URA, we shall respond immediately. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Robert. Of course, there are benefits that come with consuming the legit thing.
Yeah.
One benefit is that you're plowing money back into the economy by making sure that whoever you're buying from is selling the legit thing, but also they are paying the right taxes. But of even more personal importance is the certainty of what you're consuming.
Yes.
You don't want to succumb to a bad dream just because you wanted to have it on the cheap. So go ahead and buy the right product by ensuring that the stamp is there. And now, of course, with the new stamp that has come in, you now have the QR code, which we are going to get a little deeper into with Tony, so that he shows us exactly how it works with the app. But just before we do, I thought it was important to ask this question, because there are some manufacturers that are tuned in and they're wondering, what will URA do, surely? You know, that question. So I would like to pick from you guys. What are the repercussions of going against the DTS protocols? If we can have a quick breakdown. If I refuse to stamp my products, munakola okachi. If I get tempted to start faking the stamps, munakola okachi. You know? If you can take on that question, please. What are the repercussions?
Thank you, Solomon. Now, for the floating of DTS procedures,
Yes.
the repercussions are very stringent. For example, failure to stamp, the penalty is double the tax on the goods found unstamped, or 50 million. Now imagine some of these businesses that are starting up, their capital is like 20, 30 million. So if you fail to comply, even after you've been engaged, the penalty is 50 million.
And it's within the law.
And it's within the law. The TPC 19B, it is within the law. So you'll be penalized. Because we engage you, we train you before we register you, and first thing, ensure that you are registered with UNBS. We bring you here, we train you.
The education and engagement come.
Yes, before even registering. So most of these we are penalizing, they are aware of what they are doing. So we can no longer say, we didn't know. Because if we find you didn't know, okay, we have brought you on board, we engage you. So we say, let's sign an engagement. Next time we have found penalty. So the 50 million is big. But even those big manufacturers where they say 50 million I can pay, now there is this thing of double the tax. If we find a full factory that is having all unstamped, then we compute the local excise duty. Like for spirits, it is 80%. So the value of the goods, then we do times 2 of the possible tax.
Whichever is higher.
Whichever is higher. So that one is there. So it is punitive. 2, these ones who are trying to fake. Now, that penalty also applies to the traders. If we find you with unstamped goods as a trader or a dealer, the penalty is also applicable. That is now possession of unstamped goods. It is still 50 million. So you have your wholesale shop. It is worth 50 million. It is worth 100 million. So you continue to deal in those unstamped products because they are a bit profitable. But the repercussion is big. We shall collect that 50 million. I don't know how we will remain in business. See, that's what we put there as punitive. Now, these ones who are trying to fake the stamps, the penalty is also punitive. It is 10 million or imprisonment. Now, here, because we have engaged them, and some of those, they could be listening in, and those who have become manufacturers of stamps of URA, at Nassau Road and elsewhere. For this period, after we have done all these engagements and what, it's been now over 3 years when we're in this business.
It's been 3 years, yes.
So we're now going to go for prosecution. We parade you in court, then you deal with the courts of law because you have engaged. So by the time you are doing it, it is not quay, you know exactly what you are doing. You can involve yourself in legitimate business.
You know the risks?
Yes, when you know the risks. Because we shall bring them here, we parade them to the media, we take them to court. Because we want to deter anyone who is trying to do that. Because it is endangering, first of all, the consumers, endangering our economy, and the survival of all of us. Yeah, so briefly, that's what I can say, because they are different, because every crime has the different penalty, every offense has a different penalty, but in a nutshell, that is what we're looking at.
Robert, I would like you to make a personal appeal to the viewers, to beseech them to avoid being caught up in this situation.
Thank you, Solomon, as I was going to actually request for that. To our dear viewers, our manufacturers, our traders, and consumers, I would like to beseech you, as the manager in charge of the DTS enforcement and operations, that desist from consuming, producing, and dealing in unstamped products. More so, desist from manufacturing the stamps that belong to URA, because for that there will be no negotiations of pay the penalty. We are looking at prosecuting you people who are doing that. For the manufacturers, we have engaged you so many times. Even recently we did with the Kombucha Association. Kindly we beseech you to stamp your products. The time for engagement is now over. We are now coming for penalties. That is not our interest, but if you fail to comply, that will be our only alternative. We are beseeching you as well that you comply for the best of our economy and for the best of our citizens. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Robert, for making that personal appeal. Indeed, it will be very sad to see any manufacturer succumbing to, you know,
after all
these repercussions, because they are really punitive.
Yes.
With that said, I would like us to shift our attention to the man of technology, Anthony, so that he's able to demonstrate and show us the value that comes with using the Kakasa app. I understand there is an app that the consumers especially can use when they want to be sure of what it is that they're consuming. Because consumers also have a place, they have a role to play in the fight against the counterfeit products.
Yes.
Because what we have provided is the technology and the stamps and the provision that someone can utilize to detect what is good for them and what is not. How do I do it as a consumer?
Okay, thank you, Solomon. So we've designed an app that's on Play Store. I don't know.
Is it also available on Apple? You can flash it to the screen.
Okay.
The producer will be able to zoom in on it.
Let me just zoom in. You can.
You know, we used to have apps available on Google Play Store only, but we've now also attacked the iOS platform.
So it's called the Kakasa app. So once we install this app, yes, it's available on the iOS platform.
Okay.
So once you download and install it, at the bottom we have information, we have scan, we have report and activity. So when we are going to scan, information, this is for the viewers to read through.
Yes.
And get understand the terms of use. And then once we get to the point of scanning, as Samali and Robert explained, it was a bit cumbersome with the old stamps. We did not have the QR code that would easily, so you'd had to, for example, if you're out and then maybe they're like 5 down, it would be hard for you to start looking at the letters and numbers. So we thought it necessary to add the code so that it's easier for you to just point at it, scan, and get the information. So what we've done, we've added a code onto the QR code onto the stamp. So you place, you align the code. There's a frame. There's a box on it. So you align that frame to the stamp. So immediately you scan, it produces, asks you, is it color shifting? So the color shifting is what Samali explained earlier. This to the, when you tilt it, it changes color. Similar to, for example, this we have red. So if you tilt it to one angle, it will turn green or purple, something of the sort. So it asks you like money. When you hold up money, you will notice that it changes color. So when it asks you color shifting validation, do you see the color shifting effect when you tilt the stamp?
Okay.
So you have 2 options. You say yes or no. So once it's, if you notice it is color shifting, you click yes. So if it is not color shifting, you click no.
That's
so that
already
will automatically tell you, because now you're not seeing, this is your first line of defense, you're not seeing that it's not shifting. So meaning there's something wrong with it. So once I click yes, it will tell you product is registered. If it's not, it will tell you product is not registered in red. So in green, this automatically, you don't even need to think about it. As soon as you see green, product registered, it will automatically tell you to show you the status activated, to show you the serial number, the product name, what you see on the bottle, because now you're validating what you're seeing on the bottle. So it will show you the details, the name of the product you're going to consume, the product type. So you're not supposed to see spirit here, yet you scan wine.
Basically, if you were to compare the drink to a human, you would get the human's biodata.
Definitely. That's what specifically it's telling you, because at the point of activation, When the manufacturer places the stamp onto the bottle, they activate that. So they are telling us that I'm ready to send out wine to the market. Wine of 330 ml. It will be packed in this SKU, or in a glass bottle, or in a PET bottle. So all that detail is embedded into this stamp. So once you scan, it's supposed to present all that information. So if you see any information that is not what you're seeing, automatically you click flag. Report problem. So down there, if you see that the product, what you're seeing is not what's aligned here, you click report problem. So when you click report, we have reason. What's your reason of reporting this? So you type the reason. Like maybe the SKU is not what I'm seeing. I'm seeing 500 mils, yet this one is showing me 330. Yeah, so you type the reason, then you describe it a bit. You can add, you can also take a picture. It would be easier for you to take a picture. There is image attachment, so you hold the bottle or the stamp, take a picture, and you report. So that information comes to us where we analyze it, and then we act on it. We send out the enforcement team to go to that very point. I think the new stamps will have a positioning, so you actually can go to where you, where that person has scanned. It will point exactly, so the enforcement team will just go straight to the point and find out.
If it's a bar, they come to the bar and they check out the batch.
Take out the batch. In case of any unstamped or in case of any fake stamp, they'll take the products found. Then after they will engage the manufacturer from that point. So that's basically it. And most of the wholesalers and suppliers were telling us we use the enforcement team moves with the gadgets. So they're a bit expensive. We can't give to everyone. So we designed this stamp to help the suppliers wholesale, because some of them come and they dump the products. They they stack. So some of the manufacturers are clever. They will stack 1,000 cartons, and then somewhere in the middle there are some fake. So you as a supplier or wholesaler, you may not see because they've stacked so many things. So we advise them that once they stack the product, sample out, pick out 1, 2, 3, tell them put them down, open them, then use the app
scanner
and start scanning, so that you can tell that at least using the sampling technique, you can be able to get something that is either fake or genuine or unstamped.
It's incumbent on the suppliers to be safe, yeah?
Yeah, they must have, we've engaged them because they come. We engage them when we are out in the field. We engage them to kindly download the app and ensure that they have it. And whenever they get a supply, they must start by scanning before they accept the product.
Thank you so much, Tony, for really breaking it down. We've come to that part of the show where we get to take some questions, and we have a few within the inbox. I'm going to quickly run us through them. The very first question is a question coming from a gentleman called Michael Mubiru. And Michael Mubiru is appreciating, for the most part, he's saying URA is shifting Uganda to the next level of business. But revenue has not been used well to satisfy most Ugandans. Please preach more for us to understand. That is what he is saying. Robert, would you want to take this one?
Yeah. Is Mr. Mubiru?
Mubiru, Michael Mubiru.
I appreciate Mr. Mubiru for his question. Now, for us as URA, we are doing the best to provide the desired revenue for the development of our country. Now, as him as a citizen, he's also supposed to play his role, first by complying and paying the taxes, but two, also to now talk to their member of parliament representative so that they table the issues they want the government to do, what social amenities they would want in their localities, in their areas. Because as URA, we do not appropriate funds. For us, we are a collecting entity. We collect and give to government, to other authorities and ministries who are now charged, who are in charge of appropriating, budgeting, and doing all the development initiatives for the country. Yes.
Thank you so much for that submission. We have another question here. It's quite interesting. It's a question from Biaruhanga Godfrey. He's saying, I produce wine locally on a very small scale. Can I register for DTS even if it is not yet approved by UNBS, this wine, what are the procedures and requirements? The signs of Godfrey. Somebody autumn?
Okay,
Anyone of you?
thank you. Thank you, Solomon. What's the name?
Godfrey.
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 Thank you, Godfrey, for your question. Godfrey, we have said it over. Our stamps have this unique mark here. They call it the Q mark. We only give you stamps if you have certifications from UNBS. UNBS must authorize you to put the product on the market. So there is a process you're supposed to go through. Engage UNBS, let them come over, let them look around, test your product, test your facility, and then you can market your product. Well, we can't give you a stamp. Please, viewers, note that the stamp of ours has the certification mark, Q mark. We are telling the public that this product has gone through all the processes. So we cannot give you a stamp when you have not completed those processes. Kindly go and proceed with the UNBS, finish whatever they require of you, and then come and get our stamps. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Samali. I thought that was as clear as night and day. We do have another question here from Priska Anan. She's saying, great job, URA. Can I check for stamp validity using USSD? Interesting question.
Thank you. No, you cannot check using USSD. It's something we were supposed to have done initially, but because of some constraints here and there, we have not yet done that. So currently, that is not functional. But what the feedback we had got really from the public is that we have, most of us have shifted from those, we don't hold those phones. That's why we had not really put a lot of emphasis on it. We're all holding smartphones, that sort of thing. So if there is a real huge outcry from the public that no, we prefer that, then we can shift our attention to that. But currently, it's not available.
Thank you so much for making that clear. We do have a question here from a guy called Badiru Patel concerning enforcement. An incident happened in Cheshire border post. A manufacturer was intercepted with 271 cartons. Speaking of the bite that comes with being caught in the wrong, place at the wrong time with the wrong product. And of course, these were intercepted by URA. He had not affixed. And Badiru Patel is asking, what happens with the sachets? What is the procedure like? Because some of these were sachets.
Okay.
I think he's speaking to SKUs.
Yeah, SKU. Which product is this again?
Waraji.
Waraji.
Crane Waraji to be
Patel,
specific.
Mr. Patel, 2 years or 3 years ago, we phased out sachets for alcohol. Ministry of Trade made a publication. Everyone was informed. And our manufacturers know they're not supposed to produce. So I'm wondering, he's producing within Uganda. Please desist from using sachets for spirits. It is a banned commodity.
Solomon, you said it was for export.
He was exporting, but I think he was smuggling it out. Because the
So-
product was intercepted in Cheshire. Cheshire is a border post.
Moving out of the country?
If it was moving out, because usually we've seen certain cases whereby they write to the ministry, but they have to inform the ministry that we are producing for export, and it has to be clearly labeled. So unless at the point of movement to the border, something happened and they dumped the product, so that becomes an offense. Yeah.
Just to comment on that, that particular incident was brought to my attention. We got information from our people on the ground that someone had a depot in that particular area. So our enforcement team went there and they seized those products. First producing, there were first 100 mils, secondly in sachets, all of which is illegal here in Uganda. So those goods were virtually impounded.
Yes.
And the team is still on ground looking for the owners because they found them in a building. I think when the owners realized, and then they took off.
They scattered.
They scattered, but it is illegal, just to bring it to context, it is illegal to produce the sachets here in Uganda, and they are 100 mils. We've seen them on the rise in the recent days because of our enforcement measure here in Kampala. Now they've started going to the regions, to the rural areas, but we are going to soon reach there. Our teams are there, but we are going now to go deeper on them. But on that, it was brought to our attention, and the teams were looking for the actual perpetrators of that offense. Yes, and it is illegal. It is not supposed to be manufactured from here unless they get export permission and they produce specifically for export and get they generate export entries which they are escorted out of the country with clear permissions from the responsible ministries.
Thank you so much for clarifying that. There was also a gentleman here with a question that is not exactly clear, but it is a question that is concerning the understanding that digital stamps make the prices of these products slightly more expensive. What do you have to say about that?
On that, for example, what is the cost of the stamp for kombucha?
70.
Which kombucha?
Alcoholic.
Alcoholic is 35.
35, that is 35 shillings. Now, this cost can be shifted to the consumer. But what that person, sorry I didn't get the name, is they're trying to mean that why does it become expensive? It is because these people have to pay tax. Before, the product was a bit cheaper because most of those products were not paying tax. So because
just produce and take to market.
Exactly. Now, because you know that every product I put on the market, URA is monitoring, so you have to pay tax on it. So that's why they're saying that it becomes a bit expensive. But you must consume a product that you know that is genuine and has also paid a tax. So as you consume, you know, I've also contributed to national development. Instead of consuming goods that are, you will say they are cheap but have not paid the required taxes. Yes.
Thank you so much, gentlemen and lady, for gracing the show with this information. This is the part of the show where we get to take some parting shots, because I don't seem to see any more questions that are popping up. Oh, we have one more. Let's take this one and we shall then get into the parting shots. There's a question here from Levi. He's saying, thanks team for sharing that useful information. An informed person is an empowered person. Kindly continue with the sensitization. He's basically appreciating. Another one is a question from Bridget. Bridget is saying, will the new stamps be automatically activated as compared to the old ones that needed manual activation? Very important question.
I answer that?
Yeah, sure.
We are not saying that these ones will be automatically activated. No, they'll not be automatically activated. But like we had explained earlier, we have different types of stamps, and there are different levels of manufacturing. So there are those that have semi-automation, where they have the paper stamps, but then they have an applicator that can be able to activate for them. There are also those who are fully automated, where they use the codes. But if you are using the paper stamps and you don't have an applicator, you'll still have to go and activate these stamps. So for that, because activation means production, so you cannot say that if you buy 10,000 stamps, they are automatically activated. No, because once you activate, that is production. So eventually, we shall come and take stock of the goods you produced. So no, these ones will not be automatically activated.
Thank you so much. Just as I was about to call it a wrap, we got 4 more questions. people are starting to get really interested in the topic that we are talking about. One is a question that Tony will like a lot. It is a question that is coming in from a person called DM, interesting name. He's saying, where do we report suspected fake stamps and is there a reward? It's a 2-in-1.
Thank you, Solomon. We have an informal reward program. I think it's run with you this year.
Yes, we do.
So usually we direct them, especially those that clearly state they want a reward for it. They simply log on to the portal and submit that claim with proper evidence. Then there are those that we work with, informers. Usually they provide that evidence. They come to our DTS office at NIP building, enforcement. They present, usually they come with samples. Those that don't mind, they are doing work for the country. They come with the bottles, they submit them, and then the enforcement team acts on it and goes and does the work. So then the process starts of engaging and penalizing the manufacturer.
So technically speaking, I have to come physically to report? If I'm reporting like a batch, sure info, I know this guy is manufacturing, I've chanced on say a batch, maybe a box or a carton or a bottle, and I'm able to come with physical evidence. That is when we get into the conversation of the reward. Yeah?
Yeah, when you
submit, I'm imagining a guy who has just taken a picture of a bottle that is not giving him feedback. You took us through the sampling.
Yes.
Like I'm at a bar, I'm consuming beer of some product, and I scan, and I'm not getting anything back from the bottle, and I alert URA about that. Would that qualify also for a reward?
No, remember in this app, when I starting the app, I clearly told you that there are terms of use. So it's important that you read the terms of use, because when the minute you come to this app to report, the issue of reward
is out of the picture.
Is not in the picture, because
you're doing it as a vigilant citizen.
Yeah, vigilant citizen. That's what we empowered you. We've given you the app to empower you to help the country to do the reporting. But if you want the reward, there's a clear reward policy. If you want the reward, you go to the portal, you document whatever that you found, take pictures, upload these pictures. Yes. Uploading, and then PCA will allocate. Will contact you and take it on from there. Yeah. So when it comes to the batch, like you mentioned, if it's not reward, just simply use the app. The app will provide that information, and you'll surely see a team show up at that person's doorstep.
Thank you so much for making that clarity. Good citizenship, Ogenam app, and you alert URA and we take action.
Correct.
Person who is in it to earn from it by way of being a serious CI, then you need to do the work by getting all the evidence so that you give us sure proof information that will help us recover the revenue. That way you will also be able to get your reward.
Correct.
Thank you. I thought that was very, very well clarified. The next question is a question that is saying, how have the security features on the new stamps been improved to deal with the problem of faking stamps, and how do we identify them? Summary, you spoke about this at length, but if you can summarize.
Thank you, Solomon. Of course, I can't share all the details. These are security details, security features that help us safeguard what we are putting out there.
I think what you can share in this case is the ones that are visible, the ones that the naked eye can be able to pick up on, so that the consumer is also able to easily detect that this one is surely no.
Okay, thank you. Like I said, the first very prominent issue, thing that you can see on the new stamp is that we have removed the crane. That was outstanding on both stamps. We've removed the crane. We have also changed the data, the scanning, color shifting. The color shifting. We had 2 of them. Now we have 1 on the round stamp. We have changed the feature on the long stamp, the one which has color shifting. It's different. We have a new bud on the stamp. And then we have the data matrix on the round stamp and the letters. Those are features that you immediately see on the new stamps. I hope that explains a bit.
I think it does. If you see these features with the naked eye, then you know that you're dealing with a new stamp.
Or just scan the data matrix.
For other security elements, I think you scan the data matrix. It will give you all the biodata of the drink that you're about to consume. And if the biodata is not matching with what you expected, then there's a red flag there.
There is a red flag.
But other security details are classified.
They are classified. Thank you.
Okay. This other question is a question that is saying, is there a deadline for old stamps? Would it be like BOU issuing new currency notes where we can simply exchange the old stamps for the new ones at no cost, save for the transport we shall incur? I think this person is speaking for a manufacturer or a person who imports heavily. What's the response for that kind of question?
I'm responding. Thank you. Thank you, Solomon. We are not going to exchange. One, people have already taken the stamps and started using them. In most cases, whatever stamps we have issued out to date are already in use. So we cannot bring back half and then exchange. For system tech things, you can't just exchange half-used things. So we are not exchanging. Please use the stamps that you have. Informed when we shall start looking for those, for enforcing on the usage of the new stamps. Right now, please use whatever you have to completion. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Samali. The very last question is a question that is very similar to that. He's saying, what happens to the old stamps that we had already bought? You sort of taken care of that as you were responding to that one, surely.
Yeah, I would like to add just one thing on that.
Okay.
There are people who have never used the stamps they took.
Is that possible?
They have never used the stamps that they picked. They bought them and kept them. We do not know why. They are not responding to our calls. They are not responding to whatever engagement we are trying to put out there. So we are telling these people that if you have stopped production, please return those old stamps. First return them, and if they're in exact condition you took them, we shall have a consideration. But right now, please return the stamps to us, and then we shall see how to move. But if you have stopped production, please go ahead and deactivate your site from our system, deactivate your commitment to tax payment, if that is even possible. That is, deactivate the tax head of LED. And then we shall know that you've stopped. But don't keep the stamps when you're not using them. What we have discovered is those that are taking the stamps and keeping them are the ones paving the way for the faking of the stamps. They're using them, some of them. And it is becoming a risk to us. So if you're not using them, bring them back. We shall move forward after that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Samali, for making that call to action. I think it has been as clear as night and day. Parting shots, this is the part where you leave the viewers with one specific message that you might have on your heart. We shall not kutumira, that's for sure. But it can be another call to action. It can be one final reminder. You have an opportunity of half a minute to do it. And I'll start with Tony.
Thank you, Solomon. To our dear viewers, we request you to work with us, embrace the new stamps, use the app. We encourage you to use the app because the information that you send us is very, very important to us since we help to act on it. And we thank you for listening in and tuning in. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. That was brief. Samali?
Thank you, viewers, for tuning in. Thank you for your questions. It shows that you are really taking on this initiative. We really are grateful. We request, I'm making a request that those that are using the stamps, that are taking the stamps, please take the extra mile and declare what you have used. Because when we come at the end of the day and you want more stamps but you have not declared, it is an issue that raises questions and forces us to come in with penalties, closure, seizures, that sort of thing. Please declare the usage of the stamps by filing your returns as you are supposed to. One other item I hadn't mentioned, please note that the cost of the stamp hasn't changed. I hadn't mentioned that. We have changed the design, but the stamp cost remains the same. So it is, there's no change in that aspect. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Samali, Robert?
Thank you, Solomon. I actually expected a question to be on the cost. Thank you, Samali, that you have highlighted that. Lastly, I want to thank our viewers, and most especially those who have raised the questions, because they are really interested in this solution, the DTS solution. So we thank you, and we continue to beseech the manufacturers, traders, and consumers to only deal with stamped gazetted products for your safety first, and also to ensure that the people in the manufacturing sector are also remitting the correct tax. Do not be the risk, do not be one abetting the crime of unstamping. We want to thank you very much for listening to us, and we hope to keep interacting with you, engaging you, so that you are aware of whatever we are doing. We are located here at the head office is in the Nakawa NIP building, where there is enforcement, that's where we sit. But we also have regional enforcement presence. So when you go to our audit centers, you'll find our regional enforcement officers there. So in case you have any queries, you can come here, anything. We can liaise with our enforcement officers wherever they are, and we really support where there is a risk of non-stamping. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Robert. This is the part where we get to salute everyone who has tuned in this morning for this particular episode of the Live Tax Lounge. And we promise to bring you more content that is on theme and very relevant to you. Next week, in fact, we have a double header. One will be about customs. The other one will be about EFRIS. There are some changes in those spaces, and we shall get to appreciate those two elements. So be on the lookout for those particular episodes of the Live Tax Lounge. Otherwise, from all of us at URA TV to all of you, adios. Wish you a beautiful part of the next day.
Uganda